What up, guys? Hope everything is going well. I want to do a quick video on Marc Faber. Marc Faber is the libertarian economist that is featured in the alternative media on sites like Zero Hedge. He's been featured on Alex Jones' channel and YouTube Land. A lot of people interview him, right? He has the newsletter, the Boom, Gloom, Doom Report. He has that thick Swiss accent. And this guy, I believe, he lives in Thailand, and his wife is Asian, if I'm not mistaken. Someone can correct me on that. And he was in the news the other day because he made a comment in his newsletter indicating that he was so glad that whites colonized America and not blacks, right? These are his words, not mine. And that's the reason why he felt that there was economic success for the last few hundred years. And he was commenting on the Charlottesville situation, which I believe was a setup, right? I can't prove it, but that's just my analysis. So Faber got into this went to the mainstream media covered it, and as a result, Faber had to resign at least from a few boards. He resigned off of Sprott. He resigned, I believe, off of Nova Gold, and then there was another mine as well. There may be a few others that he's on the boards of. So that specific comment has cost him money from the board. And in addition to that, he's no longer allowed on CNN. He's no longer on, I don't think it was CNN, but I think it was CNBC, Bloomberg, Fox Business News. He is going to be blacklisted. So for the rest of his life, he is not going to be allowed on there. The only places that may interview him will be the alternative media. Now, I wonder if the mainstream media is even going to look into those interviews, or they'll just ignore him unless he continues to make those comments. And what I find interesting is that he's 71 years old, so he may have thought these thoughts all the time, but he decided, you know what, I'm 70, Trump's the president, it really doesn't matter because I've made my money. He could have been like that. Because suppose you're 31 years old and you think like that, and you decide to speak up about it, your career's over, right? And have fun finding employment when those words are out there on Google that, hey, so-and-so said this, and you're going to be blacklisted. It's going to be hard to find work. You may have to change your name or something like that. But still, they could Google your old name. So what's important about this is that anything that you say that is controversial, or even if you're not a racist and you say something that someone else may think is racist, you could be in deep, deep, deep trouble. And this goes for whether you're out in public, right? Because people have these cell phones right now that can record anything that you do. So if you act inappropriately, or if you say something that is controversial, that could get you fired at work, well, now you got to be really careful in where you actually express your opinions, right? Because like on social media, right? Suppose someone has an axe to grind on you, right? They could find that information. They could send that to your HR if they were that, how should I say it, stalkerish. I'll give you another example. There was a guy who worked on Hillary Clinton's team, and he made fun of a military member that served, and he was mocking that person. And as a result, that information spread throughout Twitter land, and that got to his work, right? Because people put where they work on LinkedIn. That information got out, sent to his HR, he was canned. So the important part is you got to be really careful in what you're saying, even if it's outside of work. I mean, if you get up high up there, like to the point in government, right? They could hack your emails. They could hack your text messages. You could be blackmailed. And I'm sure a lot of people in Congress are blackmailed. So, important lesson out of all of this is it doesn't matter where you say certain your views, right? It could be used against you if someone has an axe to grind on you. And it delves into a bigger topic of free speech. And I'm afraid that we're going to go into a time where free speech is going to be continuously attacked. If you look at what happened or what's going on in Europe, right? You cannot say certain things. The cops will come to your house because you say a certain thing on Facebook, right? If someone calls you, right? If you make a comment on somebody's wall, they could say that, hey, you made an Islamophobic comment. You could go to jail for that. It's ridiculous what's going on in Europe, right? And suppose we get a person like Kamala Harris. I've told people this, that Kamala Harris is going to be the worst because she's a globalist. She's masquerading as a progressive because a lot of progressives are mad that Bernie Sanders didn't win. So the minute that she gets in, she's going to do what they're doing in Europe. She's going to bring in people that, how should I say it, are very uneducated, that will assimilate in a way that will not assimilate, like you see in Europe. And you're going to bring in millions and millions and millions of them. And in addition to that, free speech will be attacked, right? You cannot say certain things on Facebook. So 45% of Americans will be on that list where, oh my God, they said something, the cops could be called on you, just like you're seeing in Europe. So it's a very, I should say, it's not scary time, but within the next decade, it's going to be bad. I mean, they're slowly doing this, right? They started it with this racial division with Ferguson. They're doing it with Charlottesville. And the thing about Charlottesville, some of the people that went to those rallies, right? All of them weren't white supremacists, right? They were just defending the Confederacy. Some people say that's racist. I've seen pictures of black people defending the Confederacy, right? So that's just a different topic. But people were finding out who went to those rallies and their work was called. And some of them got fired. That's insane, right? So we're coming to a point where what you're doing outside of work could be held against you. And that's very, very dangerous because this country was based on free speech and we're slowly but steadily moving away from it. And there will be detrimental consequences, in my opinion, right? Even if some of these comments are offensive, it's good to hear people of all backgrounds, right? Whether they're a Black Lives Matter guy, whether they're a hardcore white supremacist or someone who's rational, right? We need to hear these opinions because the minute that you start to silence people, the minute that you're probably going to get more violence. And that's the last thing we need. We don't need violence. We need people to come together. And how you get people to come together? Well, you need to have an open and free society. And that's what we don't have right now. Anyways, guys, thanks for listening. I'll talk to you later. Bye.